Welcome back to the Oil Works YouTube channel. I am gutted. That thumbnail you've just seen was not clickbait. I have really screwed up big time. You won't want to miss this one. Oh well, let's roll the tape. Watcher, blokes and blokettes, you're through to Oil Works. I'm the Baldy Brit Bloke and this is my YouTube channel. Oi oi! In this video, I'm back on the Porsche. My dead and supposedly flooded Porsche Boxster S. Those of you that watched the last video I dropped on her will know that I got her running. She's running! She's flipping running! But she was spewing out clouds of white smoke. Look at that. Oh wow. That is what I'm going to have a look at in this video and try and figure out what's wrong with the gearbox, why the gear shifter is not selecting the gears. I'll be given a couple of pointers, so I'm going to look at those first. I've got to pull her forward, put the rhino ramps behind her and push her back onto it with the tractor because she doesn't actually move under her own steam, although the engine runs. And then secondly, I am going to pull all of the coil packs and the spark plugs, both sides, to try and figure out where all of that water went that I put into the coolant reservoir, because you'll also remember that it just disappeared. All of that coolant you saw me put in this coolant reservoir about an hour ago has disappeared. I've looked underneath her and there's absolutely no leaks. I am a little worried. I don't want to try and start her again in case she's full of coolant. Try and figure out, is it the water pump, which is the cheaper option, or is it the head gasket, which is the more expensive option, or is it both of them together, which I flipping hope it isn't. We are going to find out. All right. How cool was that? It worked! Whee! You come under here with me and I'll show you what's going on. I was given a few pointers with the gear shifter problems. Haven't removed that heat shield yet, but I've got a better viewpoint for you. This is the selectors here. That's the end of the cable just at the top there, just up here. What I have noticed, the end of it, the rubber neck or grommet, is disintegrating, and it's the same on this other one as well. You can see there's a crack there. I don't know if that's the problem, but it looks like they're old. These cables can stretch, they can actually break inside. And I did notice that when I was hauling on this one, up here, where my finger is, when I was pulling on it, it was sliding out of that locator bracket, whereas the other one was firmly in place. I think they need replacing. They look old. So I'm going to take this shield off and then I can actually get my hands in there properly. Sweet. One down, one to go. Sweet. Finally. And just further back, there's the other one. They're obviously not supposed to be cracked, those grommets at the end of the cables. The other suggestion that was made was that there could be something bent, but I don't see anything at first glance, and there's no damage to the under tray here. So I'm going to get these cables on order and hopefully they work. I just wish that there was something obvious other than those grommets that are cracked. By the time I got up to the house it was gone 5 o'clock, so I wasn't able to order the cables from Porsche. Now that may be to my benefit. So while I was up there I remembered reading online that there is a gear shifter alignment tool that you can buy, and it's a little thing that clips over here and centers the gear stick, and it allows you to adjust the cables to reduce the slop in them. It's like 50 bucks online, so I ordered one of them. I thought, well, that's loads cheaper than getting the cables, so I've ordered one of them. It's likely I won't get away without replacing the cables as well. With those rubber grommets on the end all breaking down, it looks like they might be the original cables. They're quite dirty and similar sort of level of dirt to the rest of the engine under there. And you can see it here as well. Look, they're filthy. That's the original colour, and that's the. So I'm almost certain that they're the original cables. It's a known problem apparently that this happens with Boxsters and some other Porsches as well. And so if they're selling the replacement cables as a regular spare part, then it must be quite a common problem. Gear alignment tool, slap it on there, try and reduce the slop that way, and if that fails, then cables. Look at this. Flipping little beggars. I'm going to call it a day for now. It's been quite nice working down here because it's about +2 at the moment outside, so it's quite a bit warmer than usual. I noticed somebody very kindly mentioned in the comments on the last video, the one on Jenny the Jag, that I should get myself a little oil burner or a wood stove down here. That's very sweet of you, thank you. I've thought about it a bit. My feeling is as I grow the channel, I'm going to take this wall out, and that section behind there has quite a nice heater already in there. So that's what my plan is. As the channel grows, which reminds me, tap the like button, tap the subscribe button, and follow along on my journey. That is the cause of these. You are naughty. You're flipping cute as well. Good girl. So yeah, I'm going to pack up now. Push the Boxster forward off these Rhino ramps. Tomorrow or the next day that I get a chance to come and work on her, if that alignment tool hasn't come in by then, I'm going to jack her up at the back and pull out these coil packs, put out the spark plugs, and try and find where all this coolant disappears to. It's been raining outside, or spitting with rain most of the day, so they have been napping all the time. What that means for me is this evening, what I call witching hour, which is when these two who have been resting all day are absolutely full of energy and tearing it up. Are you allowed to do that? You two are just a flipping nightmare. How am I ever going to have nice cars if you're crawling all over them? Hey, I'm talking to you. How am I ever going to have nice cars if you're climbing all over them? Hey? No. That's the flipping... That's the convertible roof, baby. You can't do that. Just can't get the staff. Okay. I'll just bring the tractor in. It is the next day, and again, the Boxster is up on the ramps. I'm at a bit of a loss. I'm going to drop a little video that I took using my phone. I placed the phone underneath her, aimed at the shifter linkages on the actual transmission. And I hopped inside, and I went as if to put them in gear. Now, anyone out there that's watching this that has experience with this type of problem on a Porsche, looking at the forums and looking elsewhere online, it's across a few different platforms. It's not just the Boxster, but I am having problems finding a picture or an exploded diagram of the transmission that I have on here. Porsche have sent me through a couple of exploded diagrams, and neither of them are correct. They got back to me this morning because I questioned it, and they said no, one of the ones that they've sent me is the correct one, and it's not. It's showing that there's an extra linkage, a small linkage that connects two separate parts that moves. I don't have that. The ends of this twin cable system connect right onto the shifter linkages that go into the transmission, as you've just seen in the little video clip that I took on my phone there. Is it the engine mounts? Is it the gearbox that's messed up? There's a possibility that the engine mounts degrade over time and collapse a little bit, and that stops the alignment on the cables where they go into the shifters on the side of the transmission being aligned properly. It just drops them out of alignment. But I've looked at the engine mounts and they look okay. So please, if you're watching this and you've had experience with a similar problem where the gear shifter is just like stirring a cup of tea, there's no resistance to it, it doesn't snick into gear or anything, it just is floppy. I'm putting a plea out there for you. If there's somebody watching this that has experience, please drop some comments. The shifter cables are more than double what I had initially been told by the dealership, and I think the guy that quoted me originally quoted me a 1 cable system. So I don't want to go out and get some cables and still have this same problem. I still have the gear shift little plastic thing to align the gear shift to make sure it's central on its way to me, and I'm still going to try that and adjust the tightness of the cables by doing that if they need adjusting. But I just tried to track it because it's coming on eBay and I couldn't get a tracking on it. Hope that it's still on its way. So I'm going to go up to the house, warm up, and have myself a cup of tea and think about it overnight. Leave her until tomorrow. I have a feeling I might have to drop the transmission, and I don't really want to do that. It's going to be difficult for me to do that because I don't have much space inside. Oh well, I'll do it if I have to. I've never done it before, but I'll give it a go. It's still the same day. I haven't gone up to the house yet. I had checked the weather earlier and it's forecast to snow tomorrow and the temperature is supposed to be a little bit lower. So I thought before I drop her down and push her back in and bring the tractor in, I'll have one last look underneath and see if I can notice anything else. Let's have a look. The transmission mounts, they are just up here. Now, you may not be able to see because of the brightness of the flashlight. What I've noticed is, so around this nut here, the mount itself is scratched in a circular motion like it's been moving around. It's the same on the nut the other side. They're not loose, they're tight, but it looks like the mount has been moving around, or the transmission has been moving around enough to actually score the aluminium mount. Same on this side. Actually, you might be able to see this side a little bit better, because I noticed it was even brighter where it had been scored. The mounts are not new. I've also noticed, see, you can see it clearer there, there's some quite definite scoring around where the nut has moved around on the mount itself, and just to the left of that nut, I don't know whether it's a drain hole for the mount or whether it's a little spot to let air out when the rubber compresses, but it's very, very dirty. These have not been replaced. I thought they had been, but now that I've had a better look, definitely not been replaced, and you can see how dirty it is this side. But yeah, I just wanted to show you those transmission mounts. Glad I went underneath there and had another look. It sorted out a couple of things in my mind. I wonder if she was just driven very hard by the previous owner, because the back tyres are completely bald. If the person is driving hard and slamming this into gear, it can cause problems internally in the gearbox, which, now that I'm remembering, although it sounds expensive, Porsche sell all the little washers and pins and everything else. Hopefully someone can cast a bit of light on that. Alright, I really am done for the day this time. Toodle pip. Quick update. Apologise for the poor lighting in here. I've been searching and searching online, and what I found out is that my 6-speed, the Boxster transmission is 6-speed, doesn't have the extra linkage. So I responded back to Porsche, the dealership, and finally they've come back, and it is the same transmission cable for the type that they were showing me, and also for the one that I need. So yeah, it's expensive. It's like 1,500 bucks. I'm still not sure if it's the cables. I'm going to track the gear shifter centralizing clip. Yeah, what was supposed to be a budget Boxster is oh well, it's just luck of the draw, innit? What's up, blokes and blokettes? Back at it. This is now 10 days or a couple of weeks after that last clip you've just watched of me sitting in the study talking about the gearbox cables on the Porsche. Still have not received the little clip that centralizes the gear stick so that I can adjust the cables to see if it's the cables that are the issue. So I'm going to leave that for the time being. My aim today is to get her up on some axle stands and check all of the bores. I have the bore scope back down here with me. You'll remember from the first video, I only checked one and it looked okay, and I proceeded to start the car based on that evidence. There were several comments on that video suggesting I look at all of the bores, and having had that issue with all of the coolant just suddenly disappearing, those suggestions I'm going to follow up on. I've already mentioned I'm concerned that there's a head gasket gone because the steaming after I changed the AOS, the steam coming out of the exhaust did not change that much. It may have lessened slightly. I'm hoping that the bores will show that they're okay. I'm going to push her forward. I've had to pull Jenny out because it's too close for me to get to her from that side. She's going really well. I'm really pleased with the progress on her, and it'll allow me to pull the Boxster out at an angle, get her bum away from that wall, and I can take the wheel off that side and look at the bores on that side too. She's such a good looking car for being 22, 25 years old. She's still such a good looking car. They're kind of almost timeless, Jaguar E-Type-esque. What do you reckon? Right, enough of the waffle, Garthy. Let's get her moved out. Oh! That should give me enough space to get down here. Look at the flipping paw prints all over there. Oh man. Annoying but lovable little fur babies. Just pushing her out. There is a couple of little spots of oil, unless it's coolant. Oh, hello you. So I'll have a little look for those underneath there as well while I've got her up in the air. I've loosened the nuts on both, the wheel nuts on both sides. Hey! And jack her up, put the jacks underneath her, and get these two wheels off. I'll tell you something, just a testimony to how stiff the anti-roll is across this car, the back of this car. I'm jacking up this side, and the other side has almost lifted off as well, which is astonishing. So fair play, Porsche. All right, all right. Good girl. As with the last time I looked in the one bore by pulling out the coil and the spark plug, I've just got to remove this little plastic splash guard from inside the wheel liner. Won't take long. I've set up a strip light on the floor to get the lighting a bit better, not only for me to see but to show you. So there's one here I've got to undo, one here and one back here. Just got to get an Allen head to go here and undo these coils. Do this one first. It was this one I undid the last time. They were shooting geese in the field across the road yesterday. I got woken up by bang, bang, bang. I thought I might get woken up again this morning, but although they spent all day yesterday outside in the field, it was really cold and windy and the geese weren't landing on the field. They were flying straight across it, going to land on the river out of the wind. So after the dawn, I didn't hear much more gunshots. Done it. I've got to pull this coil out. There we go. There's the spark plugs tucked away back in there. Let's get them out. You can't see it on the camera, but I did notice at the end of this where the spark plug goes into the block, it's a little bit of rust. So let's see what happens when I take this one out. Oil or water, or oil and water, or clean? What do you think? Drop a comment. Drop a comment. Let's see what happens. Okay. It's pretty messy, but nothing out of the ordinary. Well, I can see the top of the piston just with the flashlight, and it looks just like there's lots of carbon on it. So just take that spark plug off. Again, it looks like the original ones, Bosch. Now for the next one, I'm going to take this one out again as well, even though I only took it out a couple of weeks back. That looks the same as that one I just took out, and it looks the same as it was the other week, even though it's been running since then. And now, last but not least, this flipping one is going to be a bit of a laugh, isn't it? And that's the same. Just looks really old, really old. That's the farthest end to the right. This is the middle one that I took out the other week. This is the one I just took out now. They're all the same condition. They just look like they need changing. So let's get the bore scope out now and have a little look-see. I'm not too sure if you can see. The quality of this camera on the bore scope is exceptional. Right, I am going in. This is the farthest to the right one. That's quite clean. Not sure if you can see it because of the glare. So that is clean. I'm going to say unusually clean. This is actually the bottom. Alright, this is the one I did the other day. Yeah, there's a bit of carbon build-up on there. Nothing too drastic. And this is the farthest to the right. Unfortunately, I can't see inside that last one to line it up. I'm going to move you because I've got to lie down. Okay. That's the same as the middle one. So the one farthest to the right is unusually clean. I don't know if that means anything. I'm going to put the side angle lens on it now and have a look at the walls. Okay, split screen. It's exactly the same as the other ones. That's the valves. Let's have a look at the next one along. That's the same. Yeah, the valves look reasonably okay. It's just carbon build-up. There's nothing in there that's particularly alarming. Yeah, it's the same on this one. Exactly the same on this one. The underside of the valves look good. A little bit of carbon build-up. Doesn't appear to be anything on the walls. I'm going to put this all back together this side and hop over to the other side. Seems like I've got my own personal jacket warmer. Oi! Thank you. If it smells like me and it's comfy, it needs to be sat on. That's what she thinks of. That's what she thinks of me. You can kiss my. There we go. Spark plugs all back in. Coil packs all bolted back on and nicely connected up. And the little splash guard for the inner wheel arch is back on as well. Quickly going to throw this wheel back on, get the bolts as tight as I can while she's up in the air, and then onto the other side. I won't bother to film it until I actually get to pulling out the spark plugs. It's just the same process as what you see me do already. Alright, I am now at the point of pulling out the spark plugs on the other side, the passenger side of the car, the right hand side. So place your bets. What do you reckon? How are these going to look? So I'm going to start with the one that's closest to me, towards the back of the car. Exactly the same as the other side was. Old, but nothing untoward. Now the next one. Same again, old, but nothing untoward. Finally, the one closest to the front. Last one. Same again. Old, but nothing too scary. Let's get the bore scope in there. Hold on a minute, let's see if I can get rid of some of that glare. Is that better? That looks good. So that's the first one closest to the back of the engine. That looks okay. And that's exactly the same again. Just a little bit of carbon buildup, which is absolutely to be expected. Nothing scary in there at all. No scoring on any of the bores, which is excellent. Such a relief. I did just notice something funny. Not for medical use. Drat! I was hoping that would save me an appointment at the doctor's and I could do it myself. Incredible little tool, isn't it? So that is a massive relief. At least I know that the engine appears to be sound. You saw it. I hope probably not as clear as me because it's between screens and I haven't figured out how to record on this boroscope yet. But to me it looks as clean as a whistle except for the carbon build-up, which is completely normal for a car of this age. If you are watching this video and you think you know who this car used to belong to, please reach out to them. It came out of Montreal and it was bought in Montreal as well. I don't have any of the previous ownership, which is unusual. I normally get it on the other salvage cars and I've been able to track them. I may try and go through the dealership that this was bought from and see if I can find out who owned it that way. That's how I did it with the Focus RS. I was able to find the dealership that had serviced it and it had been bought from. And I said, look, I don't need to know any information. I understand the privacy side of things. Would you mind reaching out to the previous owner and seeing if they have any information or anything for me? And that's what they did with the Focus. They reached out and he gave me the plug and play for the tune. So I got the handset for it. So that was pretty cool. If you have any idea who this might have belonged to through the Porsche Club of Canada or anything like that, please reach out to them and see if you can get them to reach out to me because I'd love to know and I'd be able to share it with you. At least hasn't been coolant gushing out of the spark plug holes, which I was a little bit worried about. I did receive something from eBay, which I picked up off my back step. Must have been delivered while I was down here. So I'm going to put the wheel back on and then we'll have a little look at this. I know what it is, but I'm pretty excited about it. It'll be quite useful to me. There we are. They're all safely back in place. Just got to click the ignition cables back onto them and off we go. There we go. Sweet! Finally. And this little plastic shroud to go back on. Awesome. Just before I drop her deck back down, see how wet the oil pan looks there? That's covered in oil. So I'm not going to have a look at it today. I've got a few things that I need to get done, and I'll have to lift her back up again when I have a look at that gear linkage thing anyway. So very relieved that the bores look okay. That's excellent news. And one good thing, got her running and the bores look okay. Next problem, gear shifter or gearbox, whichever one it is. and the water problem. Got to try and figure out what's going on there. I'm going to drop her down on the floor and then I'll show you that parcel that came in. Yeah, it's such a relief seeing that the balls are okay. Such a relief. Here is something else that has arrived today, which I was told was on its way to me. What's in here is very, very special. But I know what's in there. I know what's in here as well, but let's open this one first. Oh, it's well wrapped up. Fair play to him. Like Christmas from your grandma. Check that out. That is Porsche Boxster service manual. So, I found this on eBay. These, brand new, are around $200. I found this one for $77, and it was a guy, an old gentleman that was retiring, closed his mechanics garage and was selling off not just this. There was two, he had two of these ones, but there was dozens of other manuals that he was selling off as well, and some tools. As soon as I received the last manual, I realised I needed something a little more in depth, so I went online and got this, ordered this straight away. It's taken a couple of weeks to come in, but perfect timing. Now this is something a little more special. These are the ownerships for Jenny and this girl. Okay. The Jaguar one is fine. This one I have to start digging a little deeper, which I knew when I got her that there might be some extra work I have to do on getting the ownership for this one. I'm going to scoot inside now, send out a couple of emails, make a couple of phone calls. Cool. Today is a good day. The engine looks to be good. I got the ownerships, or one of them, and a service manual. All right, there she is, back in place. I am gonna scurry up to the house and get on that phone, get on the blower, and get on the old computer as well. Yeah, I took a bit of a risk with this one. So now I've got to scramble around and follow up with an old contact of mine who's been very helpful to me previously in the MTO, Ministry of Transport Ontario. Okay, I will see you tomorrow. Toodle pip. Ah, I am gutted. Watch out, everyone. I have really screwed up on this girl. Sorry, my head's still racing a bit. Let me explain. Those of you that have been following me for a while or saw the first Boxster video may recall that there was originally two Boxsters that I was looking at on the salvage auctions. There was this one, and there was one before that, which was crash damaged on that side. Bit of a gamble, this one. I missed, a week before this, I missed a Porsche Boxster with a smashed front, really low mileage. That was where I originally looked at this one, was that I was thinking if I bought that one and she's just got the front smashed up, I can use this one and repair it that way and then part this one out. What I had intended to do was to buy this one for parts. Now there was a reason for that. This was listed as irrecoverable, and what that means in Canada, if it's deemed irrecoverable, it can never be put back on the road. This VIN number is tarnished or obsolete. It can never be put back on the road in Canada, except, and I'll get to that in a minute, I missed the first Boxster that was crashed. This one came up and I thought, yeah, I'll get it anyway. The reason I took that risk, I will tell you. I have had an irrecoverable car before. When it arrived to me, it was quite evident that it was not irrecoverable. It had been misbranded. As I understand it, the insurance industry works where a car is taken to a mechanics or a body shop that's been involved in an accident or some other sort of damage. fire or flood, it's taken to a body shop or a mechanic, and then somebody will appraise it. They'll figure out how much it's going to cost to repair it, and depending on what that cost is, the insurance company will then say, okay, we're going to chop it and sell it for salvage, or we'll rebuild it. Or, in this case, it's irrecoverable. So I knew that there was a possibility I could still get this rebranded and have it as salvage, which if that was the case, I'd be laughing. It would be a right result. You will remember when she arrived here and I went through the process of trying to get her going, I believed that the water damage wasn't flood at all. It was a drain that was blocked on the convertible roof, meaning that the water drained into the inside of the car, and in doing that it flooded out the alarm immobiliser unit. When I left here this morning, I went up, got on the phone, started calling, tried to get through to the insurance company agent, wasn't able to get through to the agent, but I got through to the salvage department, and they were really decent to me, but they were very clear, no, this was irrecoverable. It has always been listed as irrecoverable due to water damage. I emailed my connect at the Ministry of Transport Ontario down in St Catharines, and he got back to me quite quickly saying, no Garth, it's water damage, there's nothing we can do about it. So I was gutted. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do. I just wanted to come down here and share it with you straight away, because while I'm talking it through with you, it's allowing me to think. It's going to take me a bit to process this. Yeah, I'm gutted at the moment. I had hoped that I could wriggle through this, get myself a cheap Boxster. Oh, what a mess up. Anyway, I've got the rest of my day to get on with. I'm going to sleep on it, and when I have had a chance to process it, I'll come back and tell you what's going to happen, or not. I'll talk to you soon. Toodle pip. Well, I don't mind admitting it's been a strange week. From the high of knowing that the engine is okay to the low of knowing this girl can never go back on the road in Canada. I've been thinking about this overnight, and I must confess I didn't sleep too well. And I have a few options. Let me show you. Here are the options that I've come up with. 1. Export to another country. There's nothing to stop somebody else from a different country putting her on the road. She could go across to the US, and there's some states over there that a flooded car is allowed to go back on the road. They would probably have to get it appraised by an independent appraiser. It could go to Europe. A lot of these cars that are flooded over here or irrecoverable go out to Africa or Eastern Europe, and they get repaired and put back on the road. So I could do that. 2. Break and sell the parts. Even though her VIN is tarnished, that actually means that the whole car complete can't be put back on the road. So I could sell it as a half shut. I could chop the front off it and sell the front of it, or chop the back off it and sell the back of it, or the rear wings, and sell the parts, the lights, the seats, the interior. I could even sell the engine. So that's another option. 3. Break, keep the parts, and use on another Boxster. I could hold on to her, I could buy another one, and I could take the parts off it and put it on to the one that's damaged, the other one. As long as it's not an irrecoverable title, and it has to be a salvage title or a clean title. And 4, keep and use as a race car. And 5, keep and use as a large yellow paperweight. That was why I kept calling her a paperweight. It wasn't only because she was not working, it was because in the back of my mind there was always a little bit of a hesitation that there's a possibility I might not be able to put her back on the road, but I thought I could squeeze this one through. Anyway, it didn't work, as you're well aware. So, I need your help. I need your help. Two things. What should I do with the yellow Boxster? Drop a comment, let me know. One of these? Or do you have any other ideas? Let me know in the comments. Two, if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing. If you like the content, please make sure to tap the like button. Share and comment. It's going to help me make more idiotic choices, take more idiotic risks in the future. I don't know. I really appreciate you watching and following along, and the comments as well. I do look at all the comments and I respond to as many as I can. Even the trolls. Yes, I've got some trolls. I'm not too sure what the next video will be on. It may be on Jenny the Jag. She's coming along quite well. If not, it will probably be on Blue Ford Focus RS FEDOSUIA, or the little reddish orange Fiesta ST with the bright yellow wheels Fiona. I have to start thinking about getting rid of one or two of my vehicles, because although I've got quite a large property, I don't really like keeping them outside. And living in the country, you have a huge problem with squirrels and mice, and car electrics do not mix with squirrels and mice. And it's part of the reason why I got the cats, to try and keep the critters down and keep them at bay. But the squirrels are a little bit too quick for them. They've only caught a couple. So maybe I'll get a dog. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one. Toodle pip!